G'day, guys, and welcome back to the Best of the Rest podcast. How was that one, Fraser?
Very interesting.
Was that a bit too much? Or
Oh, I don't know what that was.
I don't even know what I was going for.
Just on the fly.
I was going to have another crack at the P1 intro, but that sort of just went, yeah.
I don't know where that ended up.
Yeah, nah. All right.
Well, let's get into the Chinese Grand Prix prediction. 2025 sprint race, second round.
Just to stop you in your tracks real quick.
Oh, mate, I was on a flyer
Yeah,
there.
You were killing it.
Purple sector.
If you have good call, that was quick. If you have any suggestions for what I could do as an intro, just feel free to leave a comment.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of just winging it. At this
Please
point.
tell him because he's got fucking no idea.
Just talking shit.
Not that, I don't want to do it though.
Yeah, I'm left with the intro.
It's better to watch him struggle.
Yeah, anyway, as Fraser was saying, Chinese Grand Prix prediction. Round 2 weekends in a row. Let's go.
Yep, sprint race. Just a quick one, right?
Yep. Did you forget?
No. I was just thinking, right, we're going to do our overrated, underrated later, and I was thinking of chucking it in. I had that mid-thought. Anyway, I'm not going to. We're going to talk about it now.
Okay, go for it.
So, sprint weekends, right? There's been... Actually, fuck it. We're going to do a game later, overrated, underrated, and I'm going to bring us a teaser right now. Overrated, underrated, sprint weekends.
Ooh. Underrated.
Underrated.
You?
I agree.
I just love seeing action on track.
Yep. There's been a lot of talk that people aren't liking sprint weekends and, you know, I don't know. I honestly don't know what you could not like. I get the teams kind of complaining a little bit because there's not enough practice and whatever, but I don't understand, spectators.
Well, that's why there's only a few sprints, how many? 6 sprint rounds?
So, yeah.
The teams, if you did it every week, the teams would be screwed because they'd have 1 hour of practice every single week. But
yeah,
they're just randomly thrown around there and you get 2 races, you get 2 qualifying sessions. I mean, when Formula One comes back off the break, I did enjoy watching the free practice sessions
in
Australia, but free practice does not compare to a quali or a race.
If you look at, because obviously we just had the Australian Grand Prix, so I was watching every single bit of motorsport that I could that was on at Albert Park. All the feature races, they have multiple different qualies, multiple different races within the one weekend. Old Formula One out here, we just have shitload of practice sessions.
The blue ball in us.
Yeah, a quali and then a main race. So why not throw in one practice session, get some nice timing out there, get a feel for it, do some race strategies, have a quali that they can use as a competitive session, but they can also use it for data, do all right, do a sprint race, test out some more shit, then you're back out of Parc Ferme, go again, quali, main race. I don't see what the problem is. To me, it's fantastic.
I guess it's maybe the traditionalists look at it and go, no, that's not how Formula One should be. It should be 3 practice sessions of qualifying and then race Sunday. That should be the format.
Well, I'd like to bloody argue that back in the day, I doubt they would have had all that formalities. It would have just been testing your car wherever you could and then turn up and fucking race it.
Just send it.
So, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have, because then other people are saying just cut one whole practice session out and then just have 2 practices and whatever. But it's keep the same amount of sessions, but have a bit more to play for.
It's interesting because I think Australia was action-packed in terms of action on track, different categories, F2, F3 was there, supercars.
Porsche as well.
That's a lot of running.
Yeah.
So what if you have the sprint weekend where you don't have a lot of support categories? I don't know what tracks they are exactly, but if there's not a lot of support categories, why couldn't you on the Friday have an earlier practice session, then maybe go into quali and then do a practice session later in the afternoon?
Yeah.
or 2 practice sessions and then a qualifying for sprint, because the sprint quali is only, isn't it 45 minutes, or it's shorter?
It is shorter. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the time is, but that does sound about right.
So why could you not squeeze in the 2 practice sessions and then have a sprint quali?
Well, exactly.
And then you get an extra hour. Then you're only an hour short on data gathering and...
Yeah, because I just had a bit of a rack in my brain and was trying to think why people didn't like it. And what I'm remembering is some people are saying that it gives away too much for the main race. But I don't really see... Like, it kind of does, but also that's like taking the running in FP2 and saying that's going to be the result of the race.
Well, teams get an idea from the practice sessions who's going to be quick in the pecking order anyway.
Yeah.
It's like just as a fan, it's probably not as evident to us unless you sort of sit there and look over it and go, okay, yes, this run, that run, rah, rah, rah.
But you probably are still going to have the same, relatively groups of 5, 7, 10 drivers. But depending on, who gets a hold of the track or the conditions the best, it could still be in all kinds of an order.
Well, we know that we've got top teams, best of the rest, and backmarkers. So we already got a rough idea.
Yeah, and when I was watching the supercars, the V8 supercars of Australia, they were having... So these names might not mean much to a lot of people, but some of the guys that were like leading the championship or, fair way up, like Cam Waters, he was having a shit quali on one day, or one session actually. So they do it. So they have a qualifying and then a bit of a gap and then a qualifying for the next race. They almost do 2 qualifyings back to back. And the first qualifying, he, it was pretty terrible. Like he was down like 20 kind of thing. I think they have 24 cars entry. And then in the next session, he was up, in the top 5. So it's like, I know supercars are a bit different because they're all the same car and almost engine. But yeah, like you can still have a whole heap of differences. They have a shit lap. Like, you're still going to get change ups. And what we saw in that was Cam Waters worked his way through the whole field. He ended up like 6th or something. So how interesting would that be to see in a sprint race?
We're always going to have under and over performers. So
yeah, for sure.
You could do 3 qualifying sessions in a row, and you're not going to get the same order.
No, exactly.
You're not even going to get the same person on pole.
No way.
So yeah, you make a good point.
Thank you.
All right. So that's a little taster for underrated, overrated. Except we won't waffle on.
No, we're not going to waffle as much. But that was
we're just going to keep ourselves to a quick little chat about each one. 30 seconds and under, probably. All right. So Chinese Grand Prix coming up. What do I want to start with? Pole for the sprint. Run through the sprint and then main race. And
sound like you're on double speed for a second there.
Yeah, mate, on warp speed. Got to catch up.
Yeah, we'll go with sprint pole, eh?
Right. Sprint pole, I've got Leclerc.
I have Piastri.
Ooh, bit of a fight back.
Yeah, I'm hoping he might be on one pretty early, kind of like he was with Australia, but...
He's going to be hungry.
Ooh.
He's going to be hungry.
Yes.
All right,
Redemption.
So podium 3, 2, 1 for the sprint race.
In third, I had Hamilton.
I got Piastri in third.
In second, I had Piastri.
Verstappen.
And P1 for sprint, I had Norris.
Yes, Norris for me too.
So we're not too different there. A couple of little switch arounds and teammates in different orders.
We'll see how that plays out. I feel like the sprint's one that anything can go on. It is almost like that extra practice session, so to speak, getting the cars dialed in for the big dog. But yeah, I reckon Norris is probably going to be hard to catch.
Speaking of Norris being hard to catch, I had him on pole for main quali.
So did I. Got Norris there for pole. I reckon he's going to take a lot of confidence away from that first race. And I think Norris full of confidence could be a problem for the rest of the grid.
Yeah, I think so. And kind of looking at Australia, he just worked his way up through the sessions nicely. So I did kind of have that he wouldn't quite be on it yet for sprint quali. But yeah, kind of predicted that he'd still come home with a win for the sprint race, and then on it for ready for main quali, feeling fly like a white guy.
Down.
So then 3, 2, 1 in third. What'd you have?
Antonelli.
Ooh, don't mind it. I would have said it's pretty bold, but after him working his way back to fourth last weekend, it's definitely achievable.
If you can put a queen.
What? What's the Queen doing?
Probably not much, but
Of course you went there.
if you could put a clean qualifying together, I don't know how we got Queen out of that, but, and puts himself a little bit closer to the front from the get-go, he can be dangerous.
The gecko. Why are you talking about queens and geckos?
Oh, man.
You've lost it. Third, I had Piastri.
Can't lose if you never had it. Piastri third.
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
What'd you have second?
Verstappen.
I had Norris.
Okay.
Who'd you have for P1?
Piastri.
I had Charles Leclerc.
Oh, that's a bold call.
Yeah, so
Turn around for Ferrari, you reckon?
my little storyline kind of thing was that Ferrari were going to bounce back. So I've kind of predicted it that way, and I kind of feel like Australia was maybe just a bit of an off race. Maybe they didn't kind of get the setup quite right. I mean, they were looking a little slow in quali as well as the race, but yeah, they didn't really pick up either of them. But yeah, I'm just kind of leaning towards they didn't quite have the setup right, and obviously didn't have the flow with the race engineers. So put them together. They
Must be the water.
must be the water. Something in the water out there, that's for sure. Right.
Well, I've gone Piastri just because I want championship back on.
That'd be unreal.
If Piastri has a dog shit of race and Norris gaps him even more, it's almost championship off after 2 rounds.
I'd
Norris, how far?
I'd love to see Piastri snag a pole as well, because he hasn't got a pole in a Grand Prix yet.
He needs Norris to probably make a mistake because Norris is just on one.
Yeah, Norris is just too quick.
Seems to get him by a 10th consistently.
But then what Norris has finally been able to do was start on pole and stay there for essentially the whole race last weekend.
Yeah, well, we can't call him Lando no wins anymore.
No,
So
poor fella.
we'll can't even call him.
Lando good stead for Drivers' Championship.
We need him to have a few more shitty starts to add to the collection from last year, so we can keep the races spicy.
I think he can just keep going how he is. Thank you very much.
I want to see Piastri up there, mate.
What? You can't even talk.
I can't speak.
I
I don't want to see Norris win.
I'd love to see Piastri pole and bring it home. I just don't know if Piastri and Norris, either way around on a pole. I just don't know how it'd go with them getting past each other.
What, you a bit scared or makes you a bit nervous?
Yeah, scared, and don't know what they'd do with like team orders, and if they'd listen anyway, and if they'd do a weird pit strategy like Hungary.
I wouldn't be opposed to one tagging the other, putting both out of the race, and then Williams snagging podium.
Get stuff.
I'd like to see that. That'd be good.
What's this shit?
Papaya smeared on the wall.
Oh my God.
In a healthy way.
Wow.
Calm down.
Whoa. Jeez, you're aggressive.
No.
Call your sticks Verstappen. Put your papaya on the head and the wall.
All right, let's move on to left of field. This is getting rogue.
Left of field. I kind of wish I didn't write this now. I went double Williams points.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it's not after you smear the papayas all over the wall.
See, I would have gone double Williams points, but at this point it's pretty much a guarantee. So I just thought
not.
I better not go there.
Don't try and discredit my left of field.
They're going to start banking points week in, week out.
Well, once they do, then I'll think about it not being left of field. But
It already is, mate. It's already a lock. They're just
at this stage,
they're the best of the rest. That's why they're the podcast team.
the team of the pod.
Yep.
They're the best of the rest.
They are the best of the rest, and everyone's going to find out after this weekend that Williams are the best of the rest. And who would it be? Probably, would Ferrari have been the slowest, do you reckon, at this point, out of the top four? Probably.
Yeah.
If Ferrari don't pick their pace up, they're going to be fifth, and Williams is going to be the top four competing at the front. Could you imagine that? Sainz leaves Ferrari. Ferrari just dropped the ball. Williams are up there, and he's like, yeah, peace. Catch ya.
I mean,
You thought
I
I was
do
going
have
on
a bit
the
of
back
a
marker.
soft spot for Ferrari, but I would love to see it.
It'd be sick.
I actually do quite like Williams, so it'd be good to see them up and about. It's been a bit sad to see them down lurking around the shadows for a while.
Shit.
Yeah, wasn't going to say that, but sure. Also, thank you to Claire Williams, gave us a shout out on Drive to Survive. I was talking about the best of the rest.
Thanks, Claire.
Cheers, Claire.
We appreciate you. You're welcome on the pod anytime.
Yep.
All right, DNF risk.
I had Stroll.
Just lack of talent, no good,
Just got a feeling.
paid driver, all that sort of stuff. Is that where you're going with that one?
If that's the words you want to put in my mouth.
It was just the look that you gave me. It sort of just said all of that. They weren't my words.
Well, no one will know because we're only a podcast and,
Audio only.
yeah, no one wants to see our ugly mugs just yet.
But in the future, maybe. Ooh,
Ooh.
stay tuned. I've gone doing again.
Doing again?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Oh,
You're lucky that you are lucky that you're a father and you can drop dad jokes like that. That's insane. Ugh.
You wait. As soon as he can talk, he'll be on the pod.
Yeah, doing because, well, I hope not, but the pressure's building after that first round.
Yep.
And all eyes on him. He needs a clean weekend. He needs to perform well, but yeah, a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure there.
How many safety cars do you reckon?
Just the one.
Yeah, I've just gone for one this weekend too.
Yeah. Boring.
Actually, let's clarify. If we've got 2 races, is that one safety car per race?
Let's go one for the whole
Or do
whole
we
weekend.
do we get 2 cracks at one safety car?
I reckon we go one for the whole week.
One for the whole
Or
weekend.
weekend.
Whole week.
The whole week. Just a Wednesday safety car.
Jeez.
Yeah, one.
Bert Marlander's got a big job ahead of him.
Don't know why, but I just thought of him shunting it into the wall last year.
Yeah. DNF risk safety car.
I mean, he did well.
Burn.
He did a lot of laps on the weekend at pace. He's lucky he didn't shunt it into the wall.
Yeah, I saw a meme and it was most laps led by Bert Marlander safety car.
And these moving, I don't know if you saw some of the telemetry of like the F1 cars in the straight. Like they're doing 220, 230, and here he is at the front just booking it. Then he's having to be hard on the brakes and wet
Yeah.
conditions. It's pretty impressive because that car would probably be at its limit.
It'd go pretty hard though.
Yeah. But he's having
I would
to push
have to.
in wet conditions.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Good on him.
All right. Well, that's our predictions for the upcoming weekend. I am keen. I think this track doesn't necessarily produce the most amazing races, but sprint weekend should spice it up. We going to try something new, as we mentioned earlier on. Wrap it up with a quick game, little overrated, underrated.
Yes, we are.
So we've got 2 or 3 different things we're going to throw at each other, and not too much waffle, but
No.
quick overrated, underrated, and then a few words to defend your position.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah, it's famous words by Charles Leclerc himself. Add that to the words of wisdom.
Yep.
Must be water.
What water are we adding? What do you got, son?
The Chinese Grand Prix as a whole, overrated, underrated.
Underrated.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it provided some pretty good racing last year. I haven't really had too much to do with it to form a full opinion. So to me, there hasn't really been enough talk around it, and I'm not sure why it didn't continue on the calendar. So underrated.
Nice. What have you got for me?
I have got
Nothing by the sounds of that.
Monaco.
Ooh, Monaco. As in the whole weekend, the track.
Yep.
The whole
Monaco as a Grand Prix has been a bit of chat about whether people would like it on the calendar or not. Monaco, overrated, underrated?
Overrated.
Overrated.
I'm torn because personally, I find the qualifying session to be one of my favourite sessions for the year because there's so much riding on the line.
Yeah.
You've got to nail it. You're almost 95% of the way to a race win, and the drivers just go for it, and it's insane. But most of the time, the race is a snooze fest, and nothing happens. And like last year when there was that prang and they all changed tyres in the pit lane, so then no one even had to box, and it was just, okay, let's watch the cars go around.
Yeah.
And that's when it literally is like you hear those nuffies that talk about motorsport. Ooh, car drive round in track circle. Ooh, ooh. Like that's what they literally think fucking car racing is. And Monaco does produce that.
Oh, geez, I wish we had some visuals for that. You guys are missing out.
All right. You ready for this one?
Hit me. Not literally.
Overrated, underrated. Max Verstappen.
Underrated.
Underrated. 4-time world champion.
Yeah.
Talked about winning week in, week out.
Yeah.
And he's still underrated.
Yeah.
He's that good.
Yeah.
Damn.
How do I defend this? I had to pick one, and I couldn't say he's overrated because
He's the GOAT.
Pretty fucking good.
The GOATs of 2020s.
I think he's exactly rated where he should be. Nah.
That's not the game, brother.
I'm going to stick with underrated. Just because he gets maybe not so much on his talent. I think that's pretty well covered. But I think he gets a bit of a bad rap in the media and gets portrayed a bit more like a villain. Don't get me wrong, he's quite a bit of a prick on the team radios and stuff like that and a bit of a whinger, but the dude's...
More of a postman, would you say? He just delivers.
He just delivers in all conditions. No, I think especially when I've been watching a few more of his. You're a fucking pelican, mate. When I've been watching a few more of his interviews and stuff, like some of his comments are quite funny. Like he was being interviewed and they're like, "Oh, Max, so it's a wet race. What are your thoughts on that?" He's like, "Well, it's wet. It's going to be a bit slippery. Got to take that into consideration." Like he just kind of gives them nothing, just funny.
I reckon, honestly, Max would be a top bloke to hang around with.
Yeah.
But it's just, he hasn't got a media bone in his body. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to answer all the questions. He just wants to rock up and race, but
Yeah.
part of the job is talking to the media.
And he's got the old white line fever, just, hard racer, doesn't give a shit. So, I didn't really like or even probably respect that side of him for a while, but I'm kind of...
Big words. Ooh.
Well, I've just said he's underrated, so, I'm obviously
Breaking.
saying that...
Freezer used to hate Verstappen.
Hey, don't you dare put those kind of words out there.
I guess it makes sense why he called him a dog a few podcasts back.
No, I don't remember that. You're a fucking dick.
I'm not going to let you live that one down.
It was an accident. I'm sorry, Verstappen. Please don't cancel our interview. Everyone's going to have to listen just to see if we actually interview Verstappen.
If we interview Verstappen one day, everyone's just going to be putting dog emojis in comments.
Anyway, we weren't meant to waffle, and we've spoken far too long about Max being underrated, in my opinion.
We have. No, it's all about you, mate. I'm keeping to the time brief.
Right. Carb loading before amateur events. Overrated or underrated?
What the fuck is that? Overrated. Overrated big time.
Why? You gotta get those carbs in, mate.
Amateur events, they probably haven't trained enough during the week to get the best out of your body.
Pro-am then. Not full amateur. But
nah.
you're not a full. You don't make enough to have it as your full-time job.
Yeah, overrated.
Overrated. Don't see the benefit in it.
That's all I'll say about that.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
All right. My last one.
Last one.
Off the dome.
Hit me.
Kewpie mayonnaise. Delicious Japanese mayonnaise. If you haven't tried it at home, go and get yourself some. Delicious, in my opinion. But
Kewpie mayonnaise
overrated, underrated.
Is the most underrated condiment.
Good call. Good call.
In all of existence.
Yes. Round of applause for that.
It may have taken us to get broken down in a buggy for you to bring Kewpie mayo to my attention.
Just for the listeners at home, we took a buggy out in the middle of nowhere doing a four-wheel drive track, and we broke it halfway through, and we were literally stuck in the middle of nowhere for a good 6 hours.
Yeah.
Talking all sorts of random shit, and
lucky we had a couple of sausages to cook up.
And then
maybe that's what Gasly was smelling that race. Someone's cooking sausages. Yeah, it sticks and freezes. They're stranded.
And Light and Freezer on Kewpie mayonnaise.
Yep.
And he's been a heavy supporter ever since.
Could put Kewpie on anything.
Good stuff. Go and try it.
Definitely is.
Kewpie, sponsor us.
Ooh, good shout.
Yeah. Lifetime supply of Kewpie.
Oh.
Ooh.
Stop it. You're getting me excited.
Damn. Right, did you have any more overrated, underrated for me, or was that it?
I didn't have any, but I could whip something up if you needed me to.
Pull some bullshit.
Right. Overrated, underrated. Let's go for a driver.
He's staring into the distance with great intensity.
I'm trying to think.
You can hear the cogs turning over.
There's a couple that I know definitely what your response would be.
He's really struggling to think here.
There's a couple that not sure what your response would be.
Talk about filler.
Oliver Behrman. Overrated, underrated. Taking into consideration Australia.
Overrated. Overrated at this current point of time. Even by myself.
Well, wait.
I can't.
And you had him to finish higher than Ocon, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I can't look away from the fact that he just fucked it off into the barriers twice. It felt like, mate, maybe you should just be racing at 95% just to feel out the track and the limits of the car after you've already fucked it in the barriers once.
Yeah.
That second one was definitely more embarrassing than the first.
Yep.
Literally just took too much track and cooked her. So, yes. It feels very harsh. I do think he's going to come into his own, but at this point in time, I'm going to go with the big call of overrated Ollie Behrman.
Wow.
Going into round 2.
The poor fella. He just needs to be a love of support, and you're out here saying he's overrated.
I'm Helmut Marko in this bloke.
Jesus. Helmut Marko probably already has a bit to say about it.
Yeah, he's probably D grade.
D grade. What was it? Doom was C grade. Bortoletto was B grade. And now we're saying Behrman's, in Marco's opinion, D grade.
And Lawson, apparently he's the best thing, but he performed probably the worst out of everyone, round 1. So,
yeah.
Anyway, box.
Righto. Time to retire today's episode. Thanks for joining us. If you've enjoyed the show, hit like, follow, and share it with another F1 fan. Catch you later.
See ya.
Look at this. This is not a dog. This is a piece of shit.